This is Grand Admiral Marcus Chen, commander of the Vengeance Fleet. I was not born when Earth died. Neither were my parents, nor my grandparents. But I remember. Every human remembers. We made certain of that. For 200 years, we preserved every image of the burning, every recording of the screams, every name of the 8 billion murdered. We raised our children on those memories. We built our civilization on that hatred. We forged ourselves into a weapon with one purpose: return and collect the debt. This is Case File 666. This is the story of humanity's return from extinction. On March 15, 2189, the Zorath Imperium attacked Earth without warning or provocation. Their justification was simple. Humanity was expanding too quickly, breeding too prolifically, advancing too rapidly. We were a threat to the established galactic order. So they decided to end us. 12,000 Zorath warships entered Sol's system at dawn. They did not attempt communication. They did not offer surrender terms. They did not distinguish between military and civilian targets. They simply began firing. The bombardment lasted 48 hours. Every city, every town, every settlement. The oceans boiled, the atmosphere burned. The crust itself began to crack from the sustained energy discharge. 8 billion humans died. Earth, the cradle of our species, became a molten grave. The Zorath broadcast their victory across the galaxy. They showed footage of the burning world. They declared humanity extinct. They warned other species that this was the fate of any civilization that grew too ambitious. The galaxy watched in silence. Some mourned. Most simply accepted that another species had been pruned from existence. Business as usual. The Zorath built monuments on a dozen worlds, statues celebrating their victory over the human threat, museums displaying artifacts recovered from Earth's orbit, holidays commemorating the day they saved the galaxy. For 200 years, they celebrated. They did not know that 12 ships had escaped. On the day of the attack, 12 colony vessels were in the outer reaches of Sol's system, preparing for a long-range colonization mission to another galaxy. When the Zorath fleet arrived, they received one final transmission from Earth Command. Do not return. Do not reveal yourselves. Survive. Remember. And when you are ready, avenge us. Captain Sarah Okonkwo commanded the lead vessel. She had a choice. Try to help and die with her homeworld, or obey the final order and carry humanity into the void. She chose survival. The 12 ships turned away from Earth. They activated their experimental long-range drives. They flew into the space between galaxies, into the void where no species had ever ventured, where no one would ever search. They carried 2 million survivors, the last humans in existence, and they carried the memory of 8 billion dead. The void between galaxies is empty, truly empty. No stars, no planets, no resources, nothing but darkness stretching for millions of light years. It should have been impossible to survive there. Humans do not care about impossible. For the first decade, we struggled simply to stay alive. We rationed everything. We recycled everything. We lost 30% of our population to starvation and despair. But we survived. By the second decade, we had stabilized. We found rogue planets drifting through the void, captured them, began mining them for resources. We developed new technologies out of desperation. Artificial suns, closed-loop ecosystems, manufacturing systems that could build anything from raw atomic materials. We stopped merely surviving. We started building. The decision was made in the 30th year. The survivors gathered, all of them, in the largest habitat we had constructed. Captain Okonkwo, now elderly but still commanding, addressed her people. We have a choice. We can build a peaceful civilization here in the void. We can raise our children to forget Earth, to move past the genocide, to create something new. Or we can remember. We can remember every burning city, every screaming voice, every life extinguished by Zorath weapons. We can raise our children on that memory. We can build not a civilization, but an instrument of vengeance. We can return someday, and we can collect the debt in full. I will not make this choice for you. This must be a decision of all humanity. What do we want to be? Survivors who moved on, or avengers who returned? The vote was unanimous. We chose vengeance. For the next 170 years, every human effort focused on one goal: building the fleet that would return us to the galaxy. We bred strategically. Genetic engineering produced soldiers with enhanced reflexes, increased strength, improved cognitive function. Every human born after the decision was raised as a warrior. We built shipyards the size of moons. We developed weapons that the galaxy had never imagined. We tested our tactics against simulated Zorath fleets, refining our strategies over generations. We did not build a navy. We built an extinction event. The Vengeance Fleet contained 50,000 warships, dreadnoughts 3 kilometers long, carriers housing thousands of fighters, destroyers designed for speed and brutality, support vessels carrying enough supplies for years of sustained operations. Every ship was named for a city that burned on Earth: Tokyo, New York, Cairo, Mumbai, London, Berlin. 50,000 names, 50,000 memories. And every ship carried crews who had been training for this moment since birth. I was 47 years old when the fleet launched. I had spent my entire life preparing to command the Vengeance. My father had served on the Strategic Planning Council. My grandfather had helped design the first warships. My great-grandmother had been on one of the original 12 colony ships. 4 generations of my family, all working toward this single day. March 15th, 2389. Exactly 200 years after Earth died. We emerged from the void. The Zorath had no warning. No species had ever traveled through intergalactic space. No sensors were positioned to detect threats from that direction. No defenses were prepared for an enemy appearing from the empty void. 50,000 human warships materialized in Zorath space. And we did not announce ourselves. We simply began killing. The first Zorath system fell in 3 hours. We destroyed every ship, every station, every satellite. We left no survivors. No warnings reached the rest of the Imperium. The second system fell in 4 hours, the third in 2. By the time the Zorath understood what was happening, we had destroyed 17 of their systems. Their high command convened an emergency session. They could not comprehend the sensor data. Human ships? Impossible. Humanity was extinct. They had made certain of it 2 centuries ago. The recordings from dying outposts told a different story. Human vessels, human weapons, human voices on communication channels, speaking words the Zorath had never expected to hear. We have returned. We remember Earth, and we are here to collect. The Zorath mobilized their entire military. 30,000 warships, gathered from across their empire, assembled to face this impossible threat. They met us at the Battle of Korvath Prime. 30,000 Zorath, against 50,000 humans. The Imperium's finest warriors against soldiers bred and trained for 2 centuries with one purpose. The battle lasted 6 hours. We lost 8,000 ships. We destroyed all 30,000 of theirs. The Zorath had not evolved in 200 years. Their tactics were the same. Their weapons were the same. Their strategy was the same. We had spent 2 centuries studying their every battle, analyzing their every weakness, developing counters to their every strength. They were fighting the war they remembered. We were fighting the war we had prepared for. After Korvath Prime, the Zorath had no meaningful military remaining. Their empire lay open before us. We did not hurry. For the next 18 months we moved through their territory systematically. World by world, system by system. We destroyed everything they had built. Their shipyards burned. Their factories crumbled. Their cities fell. We did not kill every Zorath. We were not interested in extinction. We were interested in something more complete. We destroyed their capability to ever threaten anyone again. Their industrial base eliminated. Their military infrastructure eliminated. Their governmental systems eliminated. Their historical records, their cultural monuments, their educational institutions, all of it, gone. We reduced them from an interstellar empire to scattered survivors on a handful of worlds, barely capable of sustaining pre-industrial civilization, and we made certain they knew why. On the final day of the campaign, I broadcast a message to every remaining Zorath and to the entire galaxy. 200 years ago, your Imperium attacked Earth without warning. You killed 8 billion humans. You burned our homeworld. You celebrated our extinction for 2 centuries. You thought you had ended us. You were wrong. We survived, we remembered, we prepared, and now we have returned. Look at your empire. Look at what remains of everything your species built over 3,000 years. Ruins, ashes, nothing. This is the price of what you did. We have not killed all of you. We want you to survive. We want you to remember. We want your descendants, 1,000 years from now, to know exactly why their species lives in poverty and darkness. Because you touched humanity. Because you thought you could murder us without consequence. Because you celebrated while our dead still cooled. The debt is paid, but the memory will last forever. This message is for the rest of the galaxy as well. Humanity has returned. We are not the species you remember. We are not explorers or traders or diplomats. We are what 200 years of hatred and preparation created. We are vengeance incarnate. We do not seek conflict. We do not desire expansion. We wish only to rebuild our civilization in peace. But understand this: we remember everything. If any species threatens us, we will remember. If any civilization attacks our people, we will remember. If anyone believes they can do to us what the Zorath did, we will remember. And we will return, however long it takes, however far we must travel, however many generations must pass. We will return, and we will collect. The dead do not forgive. The dead do not forget. And humanity has 8 billion dead who demand that we never forgive, never forget, and never allow it to happen again. This is Grand Admiral Marcus Chen of the Vengeance Fleet. Humanity has returned. Pray you never give us reason to visit you. The campaign ended 53 years ago. Humanity has rebuilt. We have reclaimed Sol System. We have terraformed Mars and Venus and a dozen moons. We have created a new civilization from the ashes of the old. Earth itself remains untouched. We have preserved it as it was, a molten grave, a memorial to 8 billion dead. Every human visits at least once in their lifetime. We stand in orbit, and we look at the ruined world, and we remember. We will always remember. The galaxy has accepted our return. Most species have welcomed us back, grateful that our vengeance was focused solely on the Zorath. Trade has resumed. Diplomacy has flourished. We have become members of the galactic community once more. But things are different now. No species looks at humanity the same way. They see us, and they remember what we did. They remember that we spent 200 years in the void, nurturing our hatred, building our weapons, waiting for the moment to return. They remember that we are capable of patience beyond anything they had imagined. And they are afraid. Good. Let them be afraid. Let them remember the Zorath. Let them understand that humanity does not forget, does not forgive, does not accept extinction quietly. We are a species that crawled out of our own grave and burned the ones who put us there. We are what 200 years of focused hatred created. We are humanity. And we will never let it happen again. This is Grand Admiral Marcus Chen, signing off. Case File 666 is now closed. They killed 8 billion of us. They celebrated for 2 centuries. Then we came back. And now they have nothing. The dead do not forgive. The dead do not forget. And humanity's dead demanded a price that we were happy to pay. 200 years of patience. 18 months of war. An empire reduced to ashes. Let that be the lesson the galaxy remembers. You can kill us. You can burn our worlds. You can celebrate our extinction. But we might come back.